Currently in Germany, frustration is growing over the government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. After over 100 days of a near total shutdown, which has brought infections down but not enough for the crisis to be considered under control, patience is wearing thin. The vaccination drive that kicked off at the end of December is only slowly getting ahead, but that is not entirely to blame on the government. And our Deutsche Welle correspondent Nicole Frölich in Berlin has more. Nicole, there is a widespread criticism about the speed of the EU's vaccine rollout. But even with millions around the globe anxiously waiting to get a jab, in Germany thousands of doses are going unused. So why is that?
Hundreds of thousands, rather. AstraZeneca has a bad reputation among big parts of the German population. There are parts of the country where 25% of people eligible for inoculation turned down the jab, not because they're against vaccines per se, they just didn't want to get the AstraZeneca shot. I myself have spoken to plenty of people who share that sentiment, even some who work in the healthcare sector. They prefer to remain completely unprotected rather than getting the shot, indicating that they fear the cure or the vaccine more than the disease. That mistrust can be largely attributed to a misinterpretation of scientific data and a lack of comprehensible and accessible information provided by the company and the government, for that matter. Plus, for the time being, Germany is only using AstraZeneca on people under the age of 65. That will soon change, but has contributed to public apprehension. This whole situation now has some state leaders calling for a reconsideration of the country's vaccination strategy. They're proposing a more pragmatic approach. If those whose turn it is don't want it, then we'll give it to those who do.
So a lot of hopes for a return to some kind of normalcy were pinned on the recent emergency approval of COVID-19 self-tests in Germany. So can Germans now get their DIY tests along with their groceries?
Well, that was the plan, but right now it still is just that, a plan. So far, they're not readily available, but even if they were, they wouldn't be the magic bullet they've been made out to be. Experts warn about these home kits not reaching their full pandemic control potential without a strategy attached to their launch. It's, for example, not clear whether the result of a self-test could be used as official proof of being COVID-free for traveling, for example, and the government can't find a way of dealing with people who, let's say, test positive at home with nobody watching and then refuse to quarantine. The German health minister actually promised free rapid testing for everyone starting March 1st. It's something that has proven crucial in COVID tracing and containment. In other countries, that proposal ran into scaling and financing problems. So here too, Germans will have to wait a little longer. But patience is running out, and especially with neighbors Denmark and Austria successfully implementing more aggressive testing strategies, many wonder what's taking so long.
So with the lockdown dragging on, a new debate has gained traction centered on the damaging effects all of this could have on children. So tell us more.
Exactly. With the pandemic entering its second year now, scientists have been able to gather meaningful empirical evidence as to how the health crisis and all of its social consequences are affecting minors, and the findings are truly unsettling. A German study, for example, suggests that roughly 1 out of every 3 children are displaying psychological problems in relation to pandemic curbing measures. And with kids spending more time at home, they're sadly also more often exposed to domestic abuse. When it comes to the past school year, children in Europe have missed an average of 45 school days out of 190, a number that is much higher in the global south. Unfortunately, Save the Children is calling this the biggest education emergency in history, and the resulting deficits will magnify social inequality and significantly shape the next generation. So not only here in Germany, calls are growing louder for governments to do more to procure equal access to safe and consistent learning structures that'll A, not leave overwhelmed kids and parents to their own devices, and B, help the more disadvantaged youngsters pull even with their more privileged peers. This is DW's Nicole Frölich reporting from Berlin for Vietnam Television.
Thank you, Nicole, for your information.